Out of kindness, I brought the poor campus belle home to help her. I never expected the first thing she would say, after walking in, would be an order. Lu Chen. From now on, transfer 60,000 yuan to Lin Yuxuan every month. Otherwise, I refuse. At that moment, I understood. Su Wangqing had been reborn too. In my previous life, I poured money and resources into making her the richest woman. Yet she believed she was born to be a female CEO. She even threatened me from above. I am giving you this one chance. Miss it, and begging me will not help. Fubo, cancel her cards. Buy her a comfortable pillow. Let her keep dreaming. Yes, young Master Lu Chen. You will regret this. What are you doing? I am giving you one more chance. Transfer 60,000 yuan for Lin Yuxuan's living expenses. Why should I pay his living expenses? I am not his father. It is only 60,000 yuan. 30,000 would not even buy one of my bags. See this. A top luxury limited edition. Su Wangqing, have you forgotten? Last month, you were getting food in the cafeteria and secretly stuffing steamed buns into your bag. Nonsense. I am talking nonsense. Then tell me how much that bag cost. It is an Emma Burke, 300,000. My dad brought it back from France for 300,000. The hardware on your bag is plastic. The stitching is crooked. The same one is online for 500 yuan, with shipping included. What do you know? 30,000 yuan for one bag. Su Wangqing, are you daydreaming? Before I supported you, you could not even afford a 10 yuan boxed meal. Young Master Lu, 30,000 yuan is nothing to you. But that is a whole month's living expenses for Su Wangqing and me. Your family is so rich. Should you not help us a little? Do you really need to humiliate us like this? From now on, even if we end up begging on the street, you must never throw away your dignity and ask him for help because of me. If you will not give him money, then I do not want your support either. Su Wangqing, if you really have backbone, pay back the money you spent from me, even just the loose change. A total of 800,000 yuan, 800,000. 10 years from now, I will repay you 8 million, but Lu Chen. Listen carefully. I am giving you this one chance. Miss it, and even kneeling to beg me will not help. Lu Chen, what deep grudge do you have against her? She used to be so well behaved. She lowered her head whenever she saw anyone and spoke so softly. Now she seems like a completely different person. Drive to the hospital. What for? Kainal's mother was hurt by creditors and sent to the hospital. Take a taxi back yourself. Drive. At that moment, Su Wangqing and Lin Yuxuan ran straight over and stood beside the car. Lin Yuxuan climbed right in. Su Wangqing stood outside. I sat in the back without saying a word. The driver immediately understood. He took out his phone and called the police. Hello, is this 110? Two unstable people suddenly broke into the car. They damaged the leather seats and frightened my young master. I have them under control now. Please send officers immediately. Do you know who I am? If you delay my business, can you take responsibility? Lu Chen, are you just going to watch? Tell your people to open the door. Su Wangqing, this car is mine. The driver works for my family too. You barged in without even saying hello and started ordering my people around. Lu Chen, I can accept your support, but do not imagine I will ever like you. HMPH. Are you seriously unwell? I would sooner like anyone else than like you. Lu Chen, you. These two are not acting rationally. I suggest taking them straight to the hospital. You want to go to the hospital? Yes, hurry and take us to the hospital. Oh, then get in. I will take you there. At your own risk. The number you dialed has been switched off. Lu Chen, how dare you? Pay the 3,000 yuan observation fee. Sign here. 3,000 yuan. Lin Yuxuan stared blankly at the payment slip. Because Lin Yuxuan and Su Wonking had no money for the medical fees, the police took them back to the station. Tell me, what exactly did you do? We did not do anything. They locked us in there and would not let us out. You did nothing. Then why did I hear that you told the nurse? You were going to become the richest woman in the future and invest in building a psychiatric hospital branch. He also said he would donate 100 million yuan to the hospital. 100 million? Where would you get 100 million? I will have it in the future. Right now, you cannot even pay a 3,000 yuan observation fee. Enough. Su Wonking, what has gotten into you? You used to be such a good student. How did you become like this? I am giving you one more chance. Go back and focus on school. Do not cause trouble again. If this happens one more time, no one will be able to protect you. Lu Chen, just you wait. The Maybach's brake pads let out a faint hum as the car stopped steadily in front of the city hospital emergency entrance. The door opened. The smell of disinfectant mixed with the chill of the night air and rushed straight into my nose. I stepped out of the car and casually fastened one button on my suit jacket. The emergency hall was noisy, family members crying out. The rolling sound of gurney wheels and the endless beeping blended into one boiling chaos. But the most piercing sound was Zyro Zheng's furious shouting. No money, no money. Your mother. Do not even think about getting out of this emergency room today. I looked toward the sound. Right beside the bench, outside the door, 4 or 5 heavily tattooed men had gathered. The bald one in front was lifting his foot to kick a thin young man in the chest. The young man wore a faded plaid shirt. He stood stubbornly in front of the emergency room door. That kick landed hard. The young man let out a muffled groan, and his back slammed against the metal door with a dull thud. But he did not move aside. His hands clung tightly to the doorframe. His fingertips scraped raw. That was Jian. In my previous life, he was the technical genius who helped me sweep through the Southeast Asian market. In only 3 years, I strode over. My leather shoes stepped across the cheap marble floor. Each sound low and heavy. Fubo followed behind me with 4 bodyguards in black suits, silent as shadows. The bald man was still cursing, raising the baseball bat in his hand for another strike. Stop! Jian's eyes were bloodshot. Like a wolf cub protecting its own, the bat came down with a rush of wind, but a large gloved hand clamped firmly around the bald man's wrist. That was my head bodyguard. Hey Gui, what are you doing? Which crew are you with? Why are you sticking your nose into my business? The bald man's face turned red. He struggled twice, but could not break free. Egui did not even move. He only twisted his wrist, and a crisp click rang clearly through the noisy corridor. The bald man cried out. The bat clattered to the ground. I walked up to the bench. I did not even look at the bald man. I took out a disinfecting wipe from my pocket and calmly wiped my hands. The surroundings instantly fell silent. The remaining tattooed thugs looked at Agui and the others' builds and exchanged uneasy glances. No one dared step forward. Who the hell are you? The bald man clutched his injured wrist, gritting his teeth. Paying back a debt is only natural. Jian's mother owes me 300,000 yuan. 300,000. I nearly laughed. Just 300,000 yuan was enough to corner a future titan worth tens of billions. I tilted my head slightly. Fubo, yes, young master. Fubo stepped forward. Calculate it for him. Fubo pulled a document from his briefcase. his voice perfectly even. Illegal loan principal, 100,000 yuan. As for the interest, under Chinese law, any portion exceeding 4 times the LPR is not protected. Just now you physically assaulted Mr. Jian, causing soft tissue injuries, which constitutes intentional harm. In addition, you caused a disturbance in the hospital, seriously affecting public order. Fubo adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses and handed over a business card. I am the chief legal counsel of Lu Group. Our legal team will handle the civil claims and criminal proceedings with you. The sentence starts at 3 years. The bald man froze. He looked at the gold lettering on the card, then at the bodyguards beside him, tall as iron towers. His arrogance faded at once, as though someone had doused a flame. A cold sheen of sweat appeared across his forehead. Lu Group. He swallowed hard, his voice trembling. In this city, no one dared pretend not to know the Lu family. What? 3 years is not enough. I looked at him, my tone calm. No. Misunderstanding, young Master Lu. This is all a misunderstanding. The bald man's legs went weak. He nearly dropped to his knees. Forget the principal. We will pay the medical bills. We are leaving right now. Before you go, clean the floor. I pointed at the dirty footprints he had left on the tiles. The bald man did not say another word. He took off his coat, knelt down, and started wiping the floor. He cleaned it better than a hospital orderly. In less than half a minute, the thug stumbled and scrambled out of sight at the end of the corridor. I turned to look at Jian. He slid down along the metal door and sat on the floor, breathing heavily. His clothes were torn, and his body was visibly bruised. His eyes stayed locked on me, full of intense caution. Lu Chen, a junior in the finance department. I introduced myself. Jian paused, as if searching his memory for the name. Why did you help me? His voice was hoarse, as if rubbed raw by sandpaper. Investment. I did not beat around the bush. I tossed him a card. The password is 6 zeros. There is 1 million yuan inside. Use 300,000 to settle the principal. Use the rest for your mother's surgery, and move her to a VIP ward. Jian stared at the black card on the tile floor, his pupils tightening, but he did not pick it up. I have nothing. He stared into my eyes through clenched teeth. What do you want? I crouched down so we were at eye level. I want what is in your head. I heard you have been working on a set of decentralized data capture algorithms lately. Jian shuddered. His eyes changed instantly. That algorithm was something he had written privately. It was not even complete yet. There was no way a second person could know. How do you know? Do not worry about how I know. I cut him off. 1 million yuan buys the exclusive rights to that algorithm, plus 5 years of your service after graduation. Will you do it? Jian's eyes turned red. He glanced at the blinding red light outside the emergency room, then looked down at the card on the ground, his hand trembling faintly. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, he suddenly snatched up the card, his hand shaking badly. Deal. Young Master Lu, from now on, this life of mine belongs to you. I stood up and brushed the dust off my pants. I do not need dignity. I need mad dogs who can make money for me. Fubo. Arrange for the best neurosurgery specialist in the hospital. Yes, young master. Half an hour later, Jian's mother was transferred into a VIP intensive care ward. Jian washed his face and changed into a clean patient gown someone had left at the nurse station, then sat on the sofa outside the ward. From his worn black backpack, he pulled out an old Dell laptop. There was still clear tape along the edge of the screen. Young Master Lu, this is the preliminary framework of the algorithm. Take a look. He tapped the keyboard a few times. The screen lit up. Dense lines of code streamed down like a waterfall. I only glanced at the project name in the upper left corner of the interface. Code name, Project Arise. In that instant, the air around me seemed to freeze for a second. I stared at the screen, my fingers tapping lightly against the leather armrest of the sofa. Wait, this code was far too familiar. In my previous life, before Su Wonking even graduated, she received a mysterious first round of funding and instantly became a rising star in the tech world. She publicly claimed that it was the core technology her team had built through endless, sleepless nights, and the name of that project was Horizon Arise. So that was it. In my previous life, she had drained Jian dry by stealing his work, then climbed upward by ruining someone else's future. Now this golden goose had come to me ahead of time. Just then, the phone in my pocket vibrated. I pulled it out and glanced at the screen. Caller ID, Office of the School Board. Vice Principal Lai, I answered. Vice Principal Lai's anxious voice came through the receiver. Young Master Lu, I am terribly sorry to disturb you. Well, that student Su Wonking, whom you previously sponsored, just brought a male student into my office and caused a scene. I shifted my posture and leaned back against the sofa. What kind of scene? She said. She has a business secret valued at 1 billion yuan and demanded that the school use its campus fund to give her an angel investment. She also said, once she becomes the richest woman, she will kick you off the school board. I could not help laughing. The window at the end of the corridor was not fully closed. Night wind poured in and slid down the back of my neck. A business secret valued at 1 billion yuan. Was that not the very thing sitting inside this battered laptop in front of me? Fine. I looked at the code flashing across the screen. My voice soft. Tell her the school is willing to invest. Young Master Lu, you mean, not only invest, but make a big show of it. However, there is one condition. I narrowed my eyes. Make her sign a personal unlimited joint liability performance agreement. I will provide the money myself. Su Wonking, since you want to play the game of the chosen heroine, then I will build you a trap you cannot escape from. I ended the call. The metal edge of the phone pressed slightly into my palm. I raised my eyes toward Jian on the sofa. He was watching me, his fingers still hovering above the keyboard. Young Master Lu, what happened? I tossed the phone onto the tea table. It landed with a dull thud. Someone wants to steal your work. Jian's expression changed, and he clenched his fists. Do not rush. I leaned back. The leather sofa gave a faint friction sound. How long would it take to strip out the core algorithm and leave only the shell? Jian froze for a moment, but quickly understood. 3 hours. As long as I remove the underlying data unlocking module, the rest becomes a useless shell that cannot actually run. It may look impressive on the surface, but it will collapse the moment it handles real data. I nodded. Build a hollow version. Then wait for her to come looking for you. Time shifted to the following afternoon. Jian University's Startup Incubation Center, the VIP observation room on the second floor, had no lights on. The air conditioning was turned up high. Cold air blew steadily from the vent, bringing a chill with it. I sat behind one-way glass, holding a cup of iced Americano. Droplets slid down the side of the cup and dampened my fingertips. On the other side of the glass was the conference room. Su Wonking was sitting at the head of the meeting table. She had changed clothes today. A Chanel-style soft jacket paired with that obviously fake Hermes Birkin. Her chin was lifted high, like a proud white swan. The jacket seems clearly did not fit her properly. Most likely, it was borrowed or rented. Sitting across from her was Jian. Jian, I do not have time to waste on you. Su Wonking's voice came through the speaker, sharp and full of undisguised condescension. Your project is something only I can understand the value of. 1 million yuan for the exclusive purchase of your core code. Jian followed what I had taught him. He lowered his head, his fingers pinching the seam of his pants. 1 million is too little. His voice sounded strained. This is half a year's worth of my work. Su Wonking let out a cold laugh. She slammed a contract onto the table. The sound came through the microphone. Harsh to the ear. This junk you wrote cannot even be properly implemented right now. I am the only fool willing to take it off your hands. Jian, your mother is in the hospital waiting for money to save her, right? Su Wonking bent forward, a venomous gleam flashing in her eyes. Aside from me, who else can hand you 1,000,000 yuan right now? Sign it and use the money to save your mother. Refuse, and it may be too late for her. Hearing that, my brow twitched. In my previous life, this was exactly how she took advantage of Jian's desperation and stole his work. Then she turned around and became the glamorous genius of the tech world. Disgusting. Jian's shoulders trembled. This time it was not an act. I saw the veins rise across his forehead. But he held it in. He clenched his back teeth, picked up the pen, and signed the contract. Signed. Jian's voice turned cold. Su Wonking smiled with satisfaction. From that fake Hermes bag, she took out a bank card and tossed it onto the table. The password is 6 zeros. From now on, this project has nothing to do with you. Jian picked up the card. He did not stay 1 second longer. He turned and left the conference room. Only Su Wonking and Lin Yuxuan remained inside. Wonking, are we really spending 1,000,000 yuan on this pile of code we cannot even understand? Shut up, what do you know? This thing will be worth 1,000,000,000 yuan in the future. 10 billion. She carefully gripped the flash drive Jian had left behind, holding it tightly in her hand, her eyes burning with excitement, as if she already held the entire world. The observation room door opened. Heat from the hallway rushed in for a moment, then was pushed back by the cold air. A GUI walked in and handed me a document. The paper edge was slightly sharp. It brushed across my fingertip, rough to the touch. Young master, we found it. Su Wonking raised the 1,000,000 yuan by mortgaging the old home in her hometown, left by her parents, and by borrowing from Brother Hai on the west side of the city. Daily interest, 5 per 1,000. Loan term, 1 month. I opened the document and looked at the borrower signature, Su Wonking. The 3 characters were written with stiff force. Brother Hai from Chengxin Lending. I asked casually. A small lending company under Lu Group's outer holdings. A GUI lowered his voice. I smiled. The ice cubes struck the glass with a crisp sound. So that is how it is. She used money from a company under my name to buy the hollow shell of code I had already purchased, planning to use it to trick the university fund I oversee as a school director. Let's go. I set down the coffee cup. Time to meet our future richest woman. I pushed open the observation room door, crossed the corridor, and happened to run into Su Wonking and Lin Yuxuan at the elevator entrance. The harsh white hallway lights made one's head swim. When Su Wonking saw me, her steps paused. She instinctively straightened her back and tightened her grip on the flash drive. Lu Chen. She looked at me. The embarrassment from the hospital was gone from her eyes. In its place was a lofty kind of pity, as though she already stood at the top of a pyramid, and I was nothing more than an ant. What are you doing here? Oh, right, I forgot. You are the school director's son. She lifted her chin slightly. What a shame. The capital you are so proud of will soon be under my feet. I stopped. My leather shoes made a crisp sound against the tile. I looked at her without speaking. See this? She raised the flash drive in her hand. I already have the key to the next era. Vice Principal Lai has agreed. As long as I pass tomorrow's technical test, the university fund will give me a 5,000,000 yuan angel investment. Once I get that money and start my company, I can ring the bell in the U.S. within 6 months. By then, she stepped closer. The cheap perfume smell rushed toward my nose, sharp and unpleasant. By then, that little bit of family wealth you have will be worthless in my eyes. I will exchange that 800,000 yuan into coins and throw it in your face. Lin Yuxuan chimed in from the side. Hear that? Lu Chen, Wonking is about to become a rising star in tech. If you kneel and beg us now, maybe Wonking will still leave you a sip of soup. I looked at the two of them, a laugh rising in my throat. I lifted my wrist and glanced at the time. Is that so? My voice was even. All I see is that the key in your hand is already rusted. What do you mean? Su Wonking frowned. Nothing in particular. I slipped my hand back into my pocket and took one step forward. The hallway was narrow. That half step alone pressed into her space. She instinctively stepped back. Her heel twisted slightly, and she nearly lost her balance. The zipper on your fake bag is open. I pointed at her bag, then past her and walked toward the elevator. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. The school board's technical evaluation. I will serve as a judge personally. Su Wonking, do not disappoint me. Ding, the elevator doors opened. I stepped inside and turned around through the closing elevator doors. I saw Su Wonking, hurriedly lowering her head to zip up her bag. That bag carrying the predatory loan contract and the useless shell code was just like her absurd dream of rebirth. With only the slightest pull, it would split apart completely. 3 p.m. Jian University Administration Building, first conference room. The central air conditioning vent happened to blow against the back of my neck. A little cold. I leaned back in the broad leather swivel chair at the head seat, toying with a heavy Mont Blanc fountain pen. On both sides of the table sat several core members of the school board and the head of the computer science department. Then the wooden door was pushed open. High heels tapped across the hardwood floor, making a crisp tapping sound. Su Wonking walked in. She had put on heavy makeup today. That ill-fitting Chanel-style jacket was still draped over her shoulders, and she clutched the fake Hermes bag tightly in her hand. Lin Yuxuan followed behind, carrying her laptop. When she saw me seated at the head of the table, her steps faltered, her eyes widened instinctively. But I did not look at her. I unscrewed the bottle of mineral water in front of me, took a sip, and moistened my slightly dry throat. Begin. Student Su, Vice Principal Lai tapped the table. Everyone's time is valuable. Where is this world-changing algorithm you mentioned? Su Wonking came back to herself. She took a deep breath, walked to the projector, and plugged in the flash drive. Distinguished board members, Principal Lai. Her voice rose, filled with excitement she could barely suppress. What I am about to present is the core foundation of the financial sector for the next decade. The Horizon Data Retrieval System. The screen lit up. Several lines of scrolling code began moving across a black and white interface. Su Wonking started reciting endlessly the grand vision she had prepared. Disrupting tradition, 100 billion yuan, untapped market. Ringing the bell on Nasdaq, she had a phrase for everything. Lin Yuxuan beside her was flushed with excitement, as if he had already pictured himself driving a supercar. I casually tossed the fountain pen onto the table. It landed with a dull sound. Su Wonking, I cut her off. Your business plan is quite polished. But everyone seated here did not come to listen to stand-up comedy. I turned toward the head of the computer science department. Director Zhang, is the university server ready to switch over? Director Zhang adjusted his thick glasses and nodded, ready at any time. Good. I looked at Su Wonking and pointed toward the projection screen. Run it against a 300,000 test data set. If this is the foundation of a 100 billion yuan market, this small scene should not be a problem, right? Su Wonking froze. In her previous life, she had only been a boss who enjoyed the results. She knew nothing about the underlying code logic. 300,000, is that not too high? We are only doing an early stage test right now. Her tongue started tripping over itself. You do not dare run it. I leaned back, hands folded together. Then what exactly are you asking me to invest 5 million yuan in? Run it then. Su Wonking gritted her teeth, still bluffing. In her shallow understanding, anything Jian La had created made money in the last life, so it would naturally work again in this one. Director Jian hit enter a few times on his computer. The projector's cooling fan suddenly roared loudly. Immediately after that, the code scrolling on the screen sped up sharply. 1 second, 2 seconds. Then a piercing system alert sound. Cut through the silence of the conference room. The black screen with white text instantly turned into a glaring blue screen. A huge red pop-up appeared in the center. Fatal error, underlying logic module missing, system crash. Critical error, core logic module missing, system crash. The conference room fell dead silent. Only the projector fan kept buzzing uselessly. The color drained completely from Su Wonking's face. She looked as pale as paper. This is impossible. She lunged toward the keyboard, her fingers pounding it in panic, making a chaotic clatter. Is there something wrong with your server? Yes, it has to be a server problem. Bang! Director Jian slammed the table and stood up. He pointed at the screen. Absurd. This is the code you claimed was worth 1 billion yuan. This is nothing more than an empty shell, with the foundational retrieval module stripped out. It is worse than a university graduation project. The moment it processes data, it crashes. Vice Principal Li's face turned dark. He looked toward me, sweat rising on his forehead. Young Master Lu, we were deceived by her as well. I ignored him. I stood up, straightened the lower edge of my suit jacket, and stepped across the wooden floor. One step at a time, I walked up to Su Wonking. Her whole body was trembling. Her eyes were fixed on that blue screen, and her lips shook without producing a word. I bent down, lowering my voice, so only the three of us could hear. Su Wonking, your dream of ringing the bell is over. Lin Yuxuan suddenly rushed over and shielded Su Wonking. Lu Chen, was this your doing? Jian had no money left. Did he deliberately use fake junk to trick Wonking? I did not even spare him a glance. Fubo stepped forward from the corner of the conference room. Call the police, I said calmly. Jiang University student Su Wonking is suspected of using fraudulent technical results in an attempt to defraud the university fund of more than 5 million yuan. The amount is enormous. How many years would that bring? Have the legal department calculated? Su Wonking's knees went weak. She dropped down to the floor with a thud. No. Lu Chen, you cannot do this. I did not commit fraud. I was deceived too. She finally panicked. Tears ruined the foundation on her face. I did not look at her again. I turned and walked toward the conference room door. Young Master Lu. Su Wonking screamed from behind me. The conference room door closed at my back, shutting her voice inside. 10 minutes later, I got into the Maybach, parked below the administration building. The air conditioning temperature in the car was just right. The air carried a faint cedarwood fragrance. Young Master, the debt collectors have already arrived. Fubo sat in the front passenger seat and looked through the rearview mirror. I lowered the window halfway. My gaze passed over the flower bed and landed on the entrance of the administration building. Su Wonking and Lin Yuxuan were thrown out by security like stray dogs. The documents in Su Wonking's hands scattered all over the ground. That Chanel-style jacket was smeared with dust too. Before they could steady themselves, 3 broad men in black jackets strode straight over and blocked them on the steps. They were the loan sharks from the west side of the city. Miss Su, that so-called code you used as collateral was checked by an expert just now. It is a pile of trash. The leader chewed gum. Are you playing with us? You used fake goods as collateral and borrowed 1 million yuan. No, I will give that 1 million back to you right now. Su Wonking screamed in panic and fumbled through her bag for the bank card. Pay back 1 million, the man sneered. and spat onto the ground. Read the contract. Suspected fraud. Triggers the accelerated repayment clause. The penalty doubles. Principal plus interest, 3 million yuan. Right now. Pay up immediately. 3 million. The number hit Su Wonking like a heavy hammer, shattering her composure. I do not have the money. Give me a few days. I have no money. The man grabbed the bag from her shoulder. No money, yet you carry a 300,000 yuan herms. Use this to settle the debt. He yanked hard. Su Wonking held onto the bag, desperately. No, this is mine, pervert. A sharp, ripping sound echoed across the open square. The handle of that Hermes bag was torn clean off. The cheap synthetic leather split apart, and several pieces of scrap metal, used as weight, even fell out from inside. The gold-colored plastic clasp flew into the air and shattered in two on the concrete. The air suddenly went quiet. The leader stared at the half-strip of yellowish faux leather in his hand. So furious, he laughed. Damn, it is fake too. The kind that sells 3 for 100 yuan. Passing students stopped one after another, pointing and whispering. Some even pulled out their phones and started recording. Isn't that Su Wonking, the drama queen from the finance department? What campus beauty. She carries a fake bag and acts like a socialite every day. I heard she just tried to scam the school with a fake project too. Those whispers pierced Su Wonking's ears like needles. She covered her face, crouched on the ground, and broke down crying. Lin Yuxuan stood beside her, his face deathly pale. Hey, kid, are you her boyfriend? The debt collector grabbed Lin Yuxuan by the collar. She owes 3 million yuan. You pay it for her. Lin Yuxuan shuddered from head to toe. The next second, he did something no one expected. He shoved the man aside, turned sharply, and struck Su Wonking hard across the face as she crouched on the ground. Smack, the sound was crisp and loud. Su Wonking fell forward onto the pavement. A trace of red appeared at the corner of her mouth. She held her cheek in disbelief, staring at the white moonlight of her previous life. Lin Yuxuan, you liar. Shameless woman. Lin Yuxuan pointed at her nose and cursed loudly, his face red and his neck strained. I knew something was wrong with you all along. Your loan shark debt has nothing to do with me. Do not drag me down with you. After saying that, he pushed through the crowd and fled like a coward. I sat in the car and watched the farce on the steps, my fingertips tapping lightly against the leather seat. Watching dogs turn on each other was entertaining enough, but it was still not enough. A 3 million yuan predatory loan was only the beginning. I wanted her to witness with her own eyes who had truly built the Rome she had dreamed of. Fubo, drive back to the company. I raised the window. The car glided smoothly out of campus. In the rear-view mirror, Su Wonking sat, collapsed in despair on the ground, surrounded by phone cameras aimed directly at her. By tomorrow morning, she would surely have nowhere left to turn and seek out the only person in the city who could produce 3 million yuan, which meant me. And in the lobby of my company, a special gift would be waiting for her. 9 a.m. Lu Group headquarters. On the top floor executive level, the coffee machine let out a hiss. The rich aroma of espresso spread through the room. I lifted the mug and stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the morning rush below. Traffic crawled along beneath my feet like ants. Boss, the core architecture has been fully rebuilt. It handled 1 million concurrent requests very smoothly. Jian's voice came from behind me. I turned around. Jian wore a dark custom suit, cut perfectly to fit. His hair was neatly styled, if not for the faint redness still lingering in his eyes. One would never know that just yesterday he had been roughed up outside the emergency room. Capitals packaging always works fast. I took a sip of coffee. A faint bitterness spread across my tongue. What about that decoy code? As you instructed, I embedded a tracking lockout routine inside. If anyone tries to forcefully repair the underlying logic, it will freeze the target device's physical drive. Jian adjusted his new gold-rimmed glasses, his voice carrying a hard edge. Good. At that moment, the phone on my desk suddenly rang. I put the call on speaker. President Liu, there is a woman surnamed Sue at the front desk who says she is your fiancée and is making a scene downstairs, insisting on seeing you. Security cannot stop her. She is sitting on the lobby turnstile and crying. The receptionist's voice trembled slightly. Fiancée. I set the coffee mug on the desk. The porcelain clicked crisply against the glass tabletop. She really dares to flatter herself. Tell security to stand down. I pulled out a tissue and wiped my hands. Let her come in. Have her wait in the first-floor reception area. I will go down myself. Yes, President Liu. The elevator descended rapidly, and the sinking sensation made my stomach tighten slightly. Ding! The first floor had arrived. The lobby air conditioning was running strong. The moment I stepped out, I saw her at once. Sue Wonking sitting on the leather sofa. She looked worse than a drowned rat today. Her hair was messy and stuck to her cheeks. Her eye makeup had smudged into 2 dark rings. One heel on her high heels had snapped. She stumbled toward me with a limp. Lu Chen. Lu Chen, you finally agreed to see me. She reached out, trying to grab my suit sleeve. I stepped back half a pace. A Gui flashed in from the side and stood between us, like a wall. Sue Wonking bumped into Agui's shoulder and lost her balance awkwardly, dropping onto the spotless marble floor. Lu Chen, save me. She ignored the pain, crawling over to grab Agui's pant leg. The loan sharks came to my dorm last night. They said they would splash paint everywhere. My counselor said I might be expelled. Lend me 3 million yuan. No. 5 million. As long as you help me through this, I will repay you double later. I looked at her, my eyes settling on her mud-stained hands. The lobby floor had just been mopped. You dirtied it. Repay me double. My voice stayed even. With what? With that hollow shell of code that crashes the moment it runs. Sue Wonking stiffened all over. She snapped her head up, and in her bloodshot eyes, there was still a trace of absurd superiority. That was an accident. Jian University servers were simply too terrible. The future value of that algorithm is something you do not understand at all. She gritted her teeth. The veins in her neck stood out. My mind is full of countless opportunities. As long as I have seed money, sooner or later, I will become the richest person in Jiangcheng. Lu Chen, if you help me now, you are investing in a business empire. I nearly laughed at her. Even now. She was still dreaming that she was heaven's chosen heroine. Just then, the sharp tapping of high heels on the wooden floor came from the corridor, mixed with the sound of leather shoes. President Liu, the materials for the technology department's morning meeting are ready. Jian walked out from the other side of the elevator hall, holding a tablet, with several department heads carrying folders behind him. Hearing the voice, Sue Wonking turned around instinctively. The instant their eyes met, she froze. She stared hard at Jian in a custom suit, wearing an expensive watch, her mouth slightly open, unable to say a word for a long time. Jian. She rubbed her eyes, as if she thought she was hallucinating. Why are you here? Why are you dressed like that? Sue Wonking suddenly scrambled up from the floor and pointed straight at Jian. You spent that entire 1 million yuan on clothes. You are not treating your mother anymore. Jian stopped walking. He did not even give Sue Wonking a proper look. He walked directly up to me and bowed slightly. President Liu, the new generation Tianyuan algorithm, has passed our internal million-scale stress test. Here is the test report. He handed me the tablet. I took it and flipped through it casually, Tianyuan. Su Wonking shrieked like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. What, Tianyuan? That is my horizon. Jian, how dare you sell my project to Lu Group? You signed the buyout contract. She lunged forward to snatch the tablet from my hand. 2 security guards moved instantly and lifted her off the ground from both sides. Let go of me. That belongs to me. I am the future richest woman. How dare you security guards touch me? She kicked wildly. Her remaining high heel flew off and struck the glass door. I handed the tablet to Agui and walked up to her. The cold air brushed over me, yet the lobby felt strangely foul. Your property. I looked at her twisted expression. Jian, tell her. What exactly she bought for that 1,000,000 yuan. Jian adjusted his glasses. The lenses reflected the cold overhead light. Miss Su, what you purchased was only a lockshell prototype I wrote for fun in my freshman year. It does not even count as half finished. The true foundational core was already exclusively licensed by me to Lu Group last week. As for that 1,000,000 yuan, Jian paused. His tone did not shift at all. I never even activated the card. In front of the debt collectors, I threw it straight into the hospital shredder. Su Wonking looked as if lightning had struck her. She stopped struggling instantly. No, impossible. She murmured to herself, her face ashen. In the previous life, it was clearly this. She clearly relied on this. Her voice was very small, but I heard every word clearly. In my previous life, I lightly rubbed the cuff of my suit. So this fool really had been reborn. What a pity her brain had not been reborn with her. The hundreds of billions in resources I had poured into her had all been mistaken by her for her own ability. Su Wonking, it is time to wake up from your dream. I looked down at her from above. I forgot to tell you, that small lending company on the west side of the city is controlled by me. Su Wonking snapped her head up. Her pupils shrank to pinpoints. The rundown old house you mortgaged has triggered forced enforcement because you are suspected of fraud. At 8 a.m. this morning, court officers already went to seal it. I watched her expression collapse bit by bit, then delivered the final blow. Oh, right. See that car outside with the flashing lights? I pointed beyond the glass curtain wall. 2 uniformed police officers were pushing open the car doors and walking toward the entrance of Lu Group. Vice Principal Lai filed a report yesterday. You are suspected of attempting to defraud the university fund. The amount involved is especially large. As for your dream of becoming the richest woman, save it for your time in detention. The main doors opened. A wave of heat poured into the lobby. The cold metal cuffs reflected a sharp glint in the morning sunlight as they came straight toward Su Wonking. With a crisp click, the cuffs closed. The lobby air conditioning seemed to feel even colder. It raised goosebumps on the skin. Notice of investigation. I am innocent. I was really deceived. Su Wonking was escorted out by 2 female officers, struggling to shrink backward. Her cheap Chanel-style jacket was pulled out of shape and slipped onto the floor. No one paid attention to her screams. The police properly presented the detention notice and dragged her toward the exit. As she passed beside me, she clung desperately to the stainless steel frame of the revolving glass door. Her nails scraped across the metal surface with a harsh sound. Lu Chen, you set me up. This entire thing was your trap. Her eyes were full of red veins. Like a gambler who had lost everything, she glared at me fiercely. What do you know? The things in my mind are priceless. If you do not steal from me, plenty of others will. Once I get out, I will repay today's humiliation 1,000-fold, 10,000-fold. I looked at her twisted face and did not even feel the desire to argue. I raised my hand and lightly waved the back of it. as though dispersing some foul smell in the air. Fubo, disinfect the lobby. Have this marble tile removed and replaced today. Yes, young master. Su Wonking's screams were shoved into the police car. The siren wailed. Red and blue flashes cut through the morning sunlight and gradually faded into the distance. I turned and walked toward the private elevator. President Liu, Jian followed behind me. If the foundational algorithm progresses smoothly, we could hold the launch event early next month and accelerate our takeover of the Southeast Asian market. I watched the elevator floor. Numbers keep changing. Erase the old code name, Horizon, completely. Not a single character may remain. It is too dirty. Understood. 6 p.m. After finishing the documents on my desk, I rubbed my slightly sore brow and took the elevator straight to the underground parking garage. The garage was very quiet. Only the ventilation fans hummed steadily. The air carried a faintly sweet mix of gasoline and coolant. Fubo had already opened the rear door of the Maybach. I had just bent down to get in when a dark figure suddenly darted out from behind a load-bearing pillar. Young Master Liu, wait. Agui reacted instantly. He kicked the figure off balance at the side of the knee. There was a dull thud. The person cried out and fell onto the concrete, rolling twice, before stopping right at my feet. Under the dim garage lighting, I made out the face. It was Lin Yuxuan. He wore a wrinkled white shirt. Sweat had plastered his hair to his forehead. His face still bore the red mark. Su Wonking had left school yesterday. What are you doing here? Agui held down his shoulder, one knee pressing against his back. Young Master Liu, it is me, Lin Yuxuan. I came to surrender myself. Lin Yuxuan grimaced in pain, fingers scraping at the patch of ground in front of my shoe, and forced his head upward. That unstable woman, Su Wonking, was arrested. This has nothing to do with me. I swear I tried to talk her out of it from start to finish. She was the one who insisted on starting some company and cheating people for money. I lowered my head and looked at that face lowered to the extreme. In my previous life, it was this exact, pitiful expression that coaxed Su Wonking into spending my money on him, while she claimed he was her true love. And I was nothing but an ATM reeking of money. You came to find me, just to say this. My voice turned cold. And no. Lin Yuxuan swallowed hard. His Adam's apple bobbed. Young Master Liu, you used to sponsor me with 60,000 yuan every month. Could that possibly continue? I am not picky. 30,000, no, 10,000 is fine too. As long as you give me money, I will be your dog from now on. Whoever you tell me to bite, I will bite. He rushed to show his loyalty. With no bottom line and no dignity at all, I could not hold back. I let out a soft laugh. The sound echoed through the empty underground garage. It sounded especially abrupt. Be your dog. I stepped back half a pace to create distance. Are you even worthy? Lin Yuxuan's expression froze. I turned my head toward Fubo. Fubo, did you bring the Chengxin debt contract? I did, young master. Fubo pulled a photocopy from his briefcase and gently dropped it beside Lin Yuxuan's face. The paper brushed against the concrete with a soft rasp. Mr. Lin, take a look at the signature. Fubo adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses. His tone was as flat as ever. Lin Yuxuan struggled to turn his eyes sideways. Under the light, he clearly saw the predatory loan contract. Borrower Su Wonking. And at the very bottom, in the emergency contact and joint guarantor section, the 3 characters Lin Yuxuan were signed clearly, complete with a red fingerprint. No, this is not real. Lin Yuxuan's face instantly turned ghostly pale, like something dragged up from cold water. That was only an emergency contact field. Wonking said it was just a formality. and told me to sign casually. How could it be a guarantor clause? Joint guarantor liability. I repeated those words, finding them unusually pleasant. It means Su Wonking has been detained. Her house has been sealed, and this entire debt now falls squarely on you. The penalty doubles. Total 3 million yuan. I bent down slightly until our eyes were level. You wanted 60,000 yuan a month in pocket money. Fine, pay off this 3 million yuan predatory debt first, and then I will consider rewarding you slowly. Lin Yuxuan's pupils trembled violently. He suddenly realized he had fallen into an abyss he could never climb out of. Lu Chen, you cannot do this. This is a setup. I am going to sue you. He began struggling wildly. Egui applied pressure with one hand and pushed him back down against the rough concrete. The ground scraped his cheekbone, leaving faint marks. Sue me. I straightened up and adjusted my suit cuff. Go ask the court. See whether a jointly guaranteed contract, in black and white, is legally protected. As for the lending company, its rates sit right at the edge of the legal line. Who exactly do you think you can win against? I turned and got into the car. Egui, throw him out. And call Brother Hai on the west side of the city. Tell him the guarantor is here, and that his parents can also be approached for repayment. The car door shut heavily. The Maybach drove smoothly out of the underground garage. In the rearview mirror, Lin Yuxuan's despairing cries were torn apart by the roar of the ventilation fans and swallowed completely by the darkness. 3 days later, Jiangcheng First Detention Center. Inside the visitation room stood only one cold iron chair. The white fluorescent light overhead gave off a faint electrical hum. The air was thick with the sharp smell of disinfectant. Through the thick reinforced glass, I watched the iron door opposite me open. Su Wonking was escorted in by a prison officer. When she saw me sitting across from her, she froze visibly. Then, an almost pathological surge of delight burst into her eyes. She lunged toward the glass, snatched up the telephone receiver, and said, Lu Chen, I knew you would come. I knew you could not bear to abandon me. Her cracked lips trembled with excitement. Her voice came through the receiver, heavy with uneven breathing. Quickly post bail and get me out. Once I am out, as long as you give me another round of startup funds, I will listen to everything you say. Do you not like me? I will stop putting on airs. I will be your girlfriend. I said nothing. I simply leaned back in the chair and watched her quietly. Watching that disgusting posture of condescending charity, she believed she was a priceless treasure whose value had merely been marked down, as if by lowering her price a little, others should feel grateful to take her in. I picked up the receiver. My fingers lightly rubbed the plastic shell. Su Wonking, the food in detention must taste awful, right? My voice was soft. She froze for a moment, a flicker of panic crossing her eyes. What do you mean? Did you bring money or not? I did. With my other hand, I raised a document and pressed it against the reinforced glass. This is the prosecution's charging recommendation, issued just now. I looked into her eyes and read it word by word. Su Wonking is suspected of contract fraud, with the offense not completed. Given her hostile attitude toward admitting guilt and complete lack of remorse, the prosecution recommends a 3-year sentence. Impossible. She reacted like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, frantically striking the glass from the other side. I did not commit fraud. I really have the technology. I was reborn. In my previous life, I was the richest woman. That code was mine. Sit down and be quiet. The officer behind her scolded sharply. Su Wonking was forced back into the chair. Her chest rose and fell violently. Tears and mucus streaked across her face. Reborn. I gave a soft laugh into the receiver. Yes, if you had not been reborn. How would you know the name Horizon? How would you know that Jian would become a future technical genius. Su Wonking froze completely. She stared at me in disbelief, her eyes wide, as if they might fall from their sockets. How do you know? I leaned forward slightly, bringing myself closer to the glass. Do you think, in your previous life, you became the richest woman because of your extraordinary business vision, or because your management ability was exceptional? Now it was me, using tens of billions in resources and every connection the Lu family had to forcefully build your success. I lowered my voice. Each word felt like a blade of shattered ice, driving straight into her ears. Every data drive you ruined was repaired by people I paid. Every major figure you offended was someone I humbly toasted and appeased for you. Even that so-called genius code of yours was something I bought out from Jian, released under your name. Su Wonking, without me, you would be worth less than a stray dog. Through the glass, I clearly saw Su Wonking's pupils contract violently. Her mouth opened wide. She gasped for breath, making meaningless clicking sounds in her throat. In that moment, the memory she had always been proud of, that destiny of becoming the richest woman, collapsed. You too. At last, she understood. I let go of the receiver and placed it back on its base. Stay in there properly for 3 years. When you come out, that 3 million yuan predatory debt, with interest piled on interest, and that parasite, Lin Yuxuan, will both be waiting for you in the outside world. I stood up, straightened my collar, and turned toward the door. Behind me, Su Wonking let out an utterly broken, piercing scream. Then came the chaotic footsteps of the officers restraining her. I knew the hell that belonged to her had only just begun, and the business empire that belonged to me was only now truly raising its curtain. The rain outside was falling hard. Raindrops struck the bulletproof glass of the top-floor office, creating a dense, muffled blanket of white noise. I leaned back in the leather office chair, toying with a pure silver Zippo lighter in my hand. Its metal casing was cold and sharply edged. Through the lighter, I watched the flame flare up. A deep blue glow reflected in the glass window and flashed across my eyes. I did not smoke. I simply watched the flame dance, then snapped the lid shut. The office door opened. Cold air slipped in through the gap, raising goosebumps along my arms. Gui walked in first, with Jian behind him. Neither of them looked pleased. Young master, Gui walked up to the desk and lowered his head slightly. The account on the west side of the city has been settled. The hand holding my lighter paused. I raised my eyes toward him. Lin Yuxuan still owed 3 million yuan. That should have been impossible. His parents back in the countryside could not scrape together that kind of money, even by selling everything. He did not pay it himself. Gui pressed a bank transfer receipt onto the desk. Half an hour ago, someone wired 3 million yuan directly into Brother Hai's company account to clear Lin Yuxuan's debt. I picked up the slip. The paper was slightly coarse, with the faint bitter smell of printer ink. Payer account name: Shenxi Capital. I tossed the slip back onto the desk. So it was him, Lin Yuxuan. In my previous life, after Su Wonking climbed to the top on my shoulders, the man standing beside her was him. The wealthy young businessman who constantly opposed me and later joined forces with Su Wonking to crush Lu Group in the capital market. President Lu. Jian pushed his slipping glasses back up. His voice sounded tight. That is not all. I just detected a sudden flood online of smear articles targeting our Tianyuan algorithm. He handed over the tablet. The screen glowed with a harsh white light. The headline was huge, black and bold, highly inflammatory. Bloodthirsty capital. Lu Group's heir seizes by force. Poor genius girl driven to collapse. Core technology stolen. Dirty dealings behind an elite university. Young woman jailed. Truth behind the loan shark threats is outrageous. I quickly scrolled through the screen. The attached images were extremely clear. One showed Su wonking, wearing cuffs as she was pushed into a police car. Another was a cleverly cropped surveillance still of Lin Yuxuan in the underground garage, covered in grime, kneeling on the ground in despair. A GUI had been completely edited out. Only Lin Yuxuan's weak, helpless back and the cold front of the Maybach remained. The online commenters had entered the field. The topic shot into the top 3 trending searches within 10 minutes. Jian swallowed. His Adams, Apple moving. Also, Shenxi Capital issued a public notice. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., they will hold a press conference at the Intercontinental Hotel. They claim they will expose the biggest capital scandal in the tech industry and seek justice for the victims. After listening, I picked up the lighter again and watched the flame ignite once more. I looked at the blue firelight and smiled. Shen Yichen. In the previous life, you got used to eating ready-made gains. Why are you so impatient this time? Su Wonking has only just gone in, and you already dragged Lin Yuxuan, that stray dog, back out to use as your weapon. You want to ruin me completely in the court of public opinion, while also sabotaging Tianyuan's release. President Liu. The PR department has already started suppressing the trending topic, but the Shen family is pushing hard from behind. We cannot force it down. Jian looked at me, a thin sheen of sweat on his forehead. At tomorrow's press conference, if Lin Yuxuan publicly turns around and accuses us, we will have no way to defend ourselves. Big companies fear this kind of moral stain most. Once we are branded as stealing a poor student's life's work, government partnerships and overseas investment will immediately stall. No need. I released the lighter. The flame went out. Withdraw every dollar of the PR budget. Let the heat rise as much as it wants. The higher, the better. Jian froze, but they have already built the stage. If we do not let them finish the performance, would that not be too disrespectful? I stood up and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the city neon blurred by rain below. Hey, GUI. Check where Lin Yuxuan is being housed now. Do not touch him, just keep him under watch. Understood, Jian. I turned around. Have the entire technical department work through the night. Take those dozen failed garbage we burned through in the lab. Package them into a file that looks very advanced. And leave a backdoor in place. Jian's eyes lit up. He instantly understood what I meant. You want to? I did not answer. I only glanced at my watch. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Intercontinental Hotel. We will go deliver young master Shen a generous gift. The banquet hall was terrifyingly quiet. Even the camera shutters had stopped.